Hi, my name's Jill and I'm just welcome to our new website. I'm just going to give you some hints on how to do these dolls and sculpting the doll. So first of all, you get your pattern and you trace your pattern pieces out onto freezer paper. Freezer paper has a dull side and a shiny side. The shiny side is what irons onto your fabric. So you trace it out on the dull side and then you cut it out on the line and you iron it onto your double doll velour. Okay, so this is a doll velour I use for most of my patterns, and it's got a smooth side and a fluffy side. I usually use the smooth side, but you can use either. But the main thing is to get the stretch of the pattern from the pattern going the right way. It always has to be across the hands and across the head. Okay, so this is ironed on so that the stretch is across. I've ironed it on, I've sewn from there to there and there to there. I'm leaving this open because it'll tell you to leave that open, because those pieces have to be cut out and joined together to make the face. When you haven't, the pieces that you haven't sewn, you cut out further out to allow your seam allowance, okay? And where you have sewn, you cut close to your stitching, because you don't want a big seam, because when you stuff it you'll have too much bulk there. Okay, so where you have sewn you cut near, where you haven't sewn you allow seam allowance. Okay, so when you've got your head turned in the right way, you use really springy stuffing to put the stuffing in, to put it in the head, to bring it round. As you're stuffing, it always pays to turn your head as you go, because you'll get it rounded. You don't want it fish head, you don't want it flat head. So I'm just doing this quickly so it doesn't bore you to tears. Put the stuffing in, and I've got it into the cheeks. I'll just get a bit more stuffing. When you've got a rounded head, I haven't got enough in this head, but I'm just going to show you. When you've got a rounded head, you get a little bit of stuffing and wind it round your stuffing fork and push it under the skin right to the nose. And that's how you get the stuffing in the nose. I need a bit more. Okay. But the main thing with your stuffing is to get it full and round and into the cheeks, like this one. Okay, got it round into the cheeks, and it's all strong enough. Now for the nose sculpting, I always sculpt the nose first. So anchor your thread at the back of the head behind that seam line. Use a long needle and use a really strong thread. That's really important, because there's going to be a lot of pull on that thread. When you come out, do the nose, you come out where a nostril would be, about there. You can put pins in if you want to, if you can't judge it for yourself, but I always start each step of sculpting with a new thread or a new anchored off, because you can always unpull it and do it again, because you're not cutting anything. So come out where your nostril is and angle out to the side, then take a little stitch and go back to where the nostril stitch was. Oops. And give it a little pull. Do that again, go up to the side of the nostril, the flare of the nostril, and with this thread you come around the outside and go up again. So your thread goes on the outside there, then you get your needle, lift up a little bit of stuffing, hold it under your thumb and pull it tight, because that makes the flare of the nostril. See? Then you go from that top down to the other, to do the same on the other side. You're going to do a mirror image. So it's a little stitch, angle out your thread, your needle rather, take a little, it's catching me in the ear, take another little stitch and go back to the nostril. Take another little stitch, go up to the top, bring your thread around the outside and go up to the top, but just before you pull it tight, just hold your thread and dig up some stuffing and slide your thread up under the under your thumb. When you've done that, go out to the back here and anchor your thread with 5 stitches, or 3 or 5, about 5 is best. You don't want to rely on knots when you've got sculpting because the knots will pull through. So cut that off and then get your long needle, and if you've got any little creases or things that you want, just you can pull it out with the stuffing. Okay, I always leave the back of my head open too, because sometimes when you've sculpted your nose you just want a little wee bit more stuffing in those cheeks, and you can still do that with your stuffing tool. Just bring it out there. Hope you can see this. And over that side. Okay, so now that we've done the nose, we're going to do those little eye bumps. So what you do is you put your finger in where you'd like to have your little eyes. If you do them too high up, they look quite different. Okay, so I'll just show you these two. One of these, this one's done higher up, and this one's done nearer the nose. So it's whatever look you like. So I just put my thumb in and think where I want those eyes, and then I draw a little round about the size of a shirt button. That seems to be a good size. Turn the other one. If you can cut this, you could cut it out of a piece of paper and pin it on and draw around it if you wanted to. But this is, I'm just doing it freehand at the moment. Just a circle. Okay. Then you don't use your strong thread for this. You use a single thread and a fineish needle. So you anchor your thread at the back of the head. Just ordinary thread will do, or hand quilting thread is really good, but not strong thread. So anchor your thread and come out on that line. You take a little stitch and you go under to the other side of the line, and then you go under and back, and just pull it slightly. Don't pull it too tight or she'll have wrinkles right around your eye and it won't look right. You're just going under, back and forth. What you're doing is making a cobweb under the bottom that you can't see, and because you're pulling it a little bit, it just comes up a little bit each time and it forms a slight bump. Okay. So when you've done your 2 little eye bumps, you're going to do your mouth. So this is the last thing you have to do. Just get your needle and go across the middle where you think it looks best. Okay, you can have it too low or too high, so just go across where it looks best, and then come out to the side of that. Use your long needle and your strong thread and go in directly opposite that way. Before you pull it tight, just make it loop down a little bit. Does that look good? Smile. So there you are. You pull it, now this one you do pull tighter than you want. Put your finger on it and anchor that. Just anchor that. And then turn it round, so you don't want to make them look gummy. So you get your needle and pull out some stuffing so it looks better. Okay? Then the last little thing is you go to the side of the mouth, take a little stitch and go up under to the ditch in the eye, the bottom, take a stitch across and back down, because you're actually pulling up the cheekbones a bit and pulling up a smile, or her smile. Go out the back, go across. Doesn't matter about all these stitches, they're going to be covered in here. Go down to the other side of the mouth. Take a little stitch out and come out in the ditch of the eye. Take a stitch across and back to there. Oops, pulled his nose. Pull a little bit tight, not too tight, not as tight as what you pulled the mouth. And then go out the back and anchor off. Now if any of your sculpting is not if you're not happy with it, just cut your thread and start again, because apart from the eye bumps, everything can be redone. The nose can be redone, the mouth can be redone. Just push it around with your stuffing, see? You could also make a little chin if you wanted to, with just catching that, okay? So what you do, where you put your eyes and where you put your stitching, they all make a different look. So it's whatever look you want, okay? Hopefully that's a help. I'll show you another time on how to colour the eyes. See you later.